Hello everyone, this is your host GL1 and I have another edition of Toy Talk for you. This one's going to be different. I'm not going to do a story right now. I do have a story planned with some of these figures. But what I'm going to do now is talk about the figures and tell you what I like about them and a little bit of their history. So this figure here is a big deluxe Darth Vader. He has full articulation. He's got knees, he's got little ankle movement. I actually have a zoom now, so let me zoom in for you. Now, obviously I haven't had the greatest of experiences with these cameras and digital, trying to get better, so bear with me. But so here's this Darth Vader. He has a wrist gauntlet. You can turn his wrist. And his hips go in all directions and his arms move up and down. He has a lightsaber. Now, when I bought him, I got him for $5 at a used store. He was missing the lightsaber part, but I used a saber from a Darth Maul toy that I will eventually show you, and that fits in there and works fine. So let's see. So he has a button on his arm that, if I find it here, well, like the saber, make the lightsaber sounds. And he also talks.
There will be no one to stop us this time.
And
We meet again at last.
he pushes chest button here.
The force is strong in this one.
He's got a good voice, says a lot of different things.
Don't underestimate the power of the force. I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan.
Okay, so
The force is with you, young Skywalker.
he says a lot of different things.
Not a Jedi yet.
Not a Jedi yet. So he's really cool. So for $5, not bad. The next one I'm going to go over with you is you've seen multiple times now, and that is one of my favorite toys of all, and definitely one of the top Transformers, probably to me like the top 3 that I own, and I own a lot, and that's Death Star Darth Vader Transformer. Now, this Transformer is not super easy to transform, but it's not that hard, and I'm not really going to make my show about transforming the toys in front of you. I feel like that's, uses up a lot of time, but I will transform him into a Death Star sphere. He turns into a perfect sphere. It's really amazing. It's about this big, and when he's in sphere mode, he also lights up, shoots a missile, and makes some noises that go with the movie that the Death Star made before it fired, and even has like an order to fire, the words ordering to fire. Now, I think what's amazing about him is not just his transformation, but all the different features on him. He has little toys inside him. So I'm going to zoom in here. Alright, so in his legs, you can pull these panels down. And you have little stormtroopers. You have a stormtrooper inside there. Get a little closer here. Okay, and that guy falls out. And so he has a little stormtrooper. Okay, and its arms actually move independently. And he can bend at the waist. Okay, so you have, your whole little set there. So there's 2 stormtroopers here, and then you have another stormtrooper. It's actually another one right up in here. Okay, and that opens up and he comes out. You can hear the ratchet clicking, which is not ratchet, it's nice because it helps hold things in place. And then on this one, he has a Darth Vader. So that shoulder opens up and there's a little mini Darth Vader that comes out. Okay. So, there you go. And there's Darth Vader. Let's see if I can zoom in. This has a digital zoom. Let's see how it does. And it goes a little closer. And there. It goes right there. Okay, I'm going to zoom out. Alright. And then you can just put him back away here. But you can play with other little sets, you know, with your Star Wars figures with that. Little vehicles and things. But also, what he has here, yeah, there's more, is on his back. These panels open. See, this panel opens in his back, the Death Star panel, and out comes a TIE fighter. So I'm going to zoom in. It's actually a nice little model of a TIE fighter. So when it's in Death Star mode, you know, you can open up the panels and play with your TIE fighters. And it has 3 TIE fighters. So there's actually another one. Well, you have 3 stormtroopers, so 3 TIE fighters, that makes sense. And you're able to take them apart to get them to fit inside. So they come apart in pieces. You can take the wings off of them, because you can't fit 2 of them in there. I haven't been able to fit 2 of them in there without taking them apart a bit, okay? But the wings just snap right back on. You can play with it. And then, or snap right back off. Well, you see that snap that one on. And then, this is why I don't do the transformations, because, you know, things like it can be time consuming with things going wrong. But this is such a great toy. Now, I bought this years ago when it was new. You know, it could have been like 2006 when I bought this, and it was also only $50. Now, something like this now definitely would be probably a couple $100 to get. It even has like a real cloth cape that actually folds down into it. The box was just a gorgeous box. It was really big. And I kept the box for a lot of years, because just even the box was impressive. But eventually I was like, I can't keep hanging on to all these boxes, so I got rid of the box. He has also, that's right, he has a gun that when he's in Death Star mode, it fits into the Death Star and has a green missile, and it'll fire the green missile. Now I keep the green missile tied up somewhere so I won't lose it. So, but you know, it's spring motion, you pull it back and it fires. And obviously, you know, he talks, and he talks really well. He says a lot of great sayings. It sounds like James Earl Jones, the actor. Now, I was the first person to review this on ToysRUs.com, and I just gave them a glowing review of how great it was and everything. And what was funny is the reviews after that were a lot of people complaining about how difficult it was to transform. And I remember one in particular where it was a husband and wife complaining, and they said, we both have master's degrees, we've been working with this thing for half an hour and we can't transform it. I really don't think it's that hard. It is difficult as it might be to conceive this thing compressing into a sphere. It's not that bad. The Unicron is more difficult, and you know, Galactus 8 Unicron. And there's plenty of others. I have these Transformers called alternators. I have one that's a Subaru WRX and one that's a Mustang. And they look like metal little model cars. And they even have magnets underneath that when you turn the wheels, it actually turns the other wheel. So there's a magnetic shaft that connects to both to turn the wheels. I transformed each one of those once, and I said never again, because it just took me like an hour to transform each one. Now, I'm more experienced, a little smarter now, so I may attempt it again sometime. But I guess Hasbro really was a little bit perturbed by the negative reaction of this Transformer, how difficult people complained about it, because there were actually quite a few complaints. So maybe the master's degree gets in the way. I don't have a master's degree, so maybe just a simple 4-year degree is you know, it just gets you right into the right zone. Now, so then they came out with this Transformer, Vader Transformer, and this is a quad Transformer, and I thought this would be a huge hit. I don't think it was. I'm going to zoom in on it. All right. But I think it's just a really awesome transformer. It turns into 2 ships and Anakin and Darth Vader. And you can see that there's like the ship parts on the back. Zoom out. Okay. And he's got guns that he can hold that are also ship parts. And they even have a little tab that folds in and out. There's a little tab here. Okay, so this tab, you got to think in reverse with these cameras, because you move over here and it's out of the picture, and the screen I'm looking at myself is over there. So you have this tab, and then pull this in and out, and then he can hold onto the tab, and it's a spring-loaded missile. It's supposed to fire out, and it is supposed to. But there you go. Maybe this one will cooperate. You know, I don't keep the spring compressed just so that this won't happen. My theory is that you shouldn't compress a spring for a long time because it'll lose its spring. So I don't push this in, and it's not pushing it out. So, all right, so it's not working well anyway. But it's supposed to fire. And he also comes with a flaming red lightsaber that he can hold. So he can shoot missiles that don't really fire and hold on to a flaming lightsaber. And he talks. Talk for me. So they actually, each Darth Vader does say different things. They sound very similar though, and some have different audio volumes. But it is good to note that they do say different things. So I thought this, again, was so great that I bought another one, and I kept it in the box. Because I'm like, oh, this is going to be so well sought after and probably go way up in value, and one day I'll be able to retire off of it. so I bought another one. Okay, so this has been in the box for a long time, and it shows you on the back what he can transform into. So you can see that. Hopefully the white balance is good. And I'm going to zoom in. And so you can see he turns into a Rebel cruiser, turns into Anakin, turns into a Star Destroyer and Darth Vader, and the batteries still work. I do get nervous about the batteries being in there, though, that eventually they're going to, corrode. There's a lot of toys I've been able to get working again from corrosion. I don't remember if I mentioned orange cleaner. If you take orange cleaner to the tabs where the bluish corrosion is, the crystals, and you use a toothbrush and a screwdriver and a knife, and you start scraping away and everything and try to get that corrosion out, most of the time the toy will come back. Okay, so those are my Vaders, and like I said, they will be with us soon in a show, all right? And I'm going to also show you, these toys came out in 2017. So with the Wonder Woman coming out and being very popular, the other way here first. Okay, so with the Wonder Woman movie coming out and becoming very popular, a lot of toys were aimed at girls. And first of all, there's a lot of Wonder Woman toys, and I have a lot of them. I thought it was a great movie, the first one. I didn't like the second one at all. Um, but it spawned a lot of great models of Wonder Woman and different iterations of her, and with all different kinds of articulation. And in fact, I custom made a number of them out of Barbies, and I will be showing those to you. But during that time also, WWE issued 12-inch wrestling figures, like Barbie size, and they had muscles, and they had some ab muscles, and arm muscles, leg muscles, and they had like a regular clothes outfit and a wrestling outfit. And I have, I think, all of those except one. Of course, eventually we'll see those too. So Star Wars came out with sort of a more Barbie-ish version of Star Wars figures. The jacket on Leia here is real cloth. The leg articulation is good, you know, because Barbies, remember they used to have those like rubber legs that were solid all the way down, and they had two clicks, click, click, and you get a little bit of bend. And then now they've gone to just a straight plastic leg, and they have Barbies in different sizes now, you know, different heights and you know, proportions for the dolls. But they don't move unless you buy like a highly articulated one, like Yoga Barbie. And Yoga Barbie is actually not the most articulated one. The talking Yoga Barbie is not. The Yoga Barbies that don't talk actually have more articulation. And you know, she has shoulder, and she even has like a little bit of a spring action that you can do with her. And when you turn her, she raises her phaser here. So zoom in on her. And I guess this is, you know, like a younger Leia. I like this. It's a nice doll. And they have Jane Erso and Rey, a couple different Reys, and I have those too. There's, I think, Ashoka. I did not get that one. I wish I did. I didn't know who the character was when it came out, so I'm like, what do I care? But I think it ended up being the most valuable one. And when I did learn, I was like, yeah, that's a cool character. But you know, I win some, I lose some, and I can't buy everything. They also came out with a Luke. So Luke has a pistol, and he also has a lightsaber. I don't have a lightsaber with me right now, but you can twist him, and his arm turns, so his phaser gun comes out, and goes into his hand, and then you know, he can shoot downward when you turn him. I like to imagine that all my toys eventually get along, and not really that they're shooting each other and stuff like that. So, you know, they kind of end up all being friends, even Megatron and Optimus, as much as they seem to get in each other's way, and Optimus is always talking about how Megatron must be stopped. You know, to me, they're just, I like to have the idea of my toys all getting along. So that's Luke. Now, from the email that I received from the Sandcrawler, I did bring my Sandcrawler up. So here it is. This is a Disney Sandcrawler. You could only get it at the Disney store. And yeah, I saved up credit card points so I could get it. And what's cool about it is, zoom out here, it makes noise when you move it. And there's a button on the underside to turn that on and off. And it also opens up. And it has buttons here that it will light up and make sounds. Those are Jawa sounds, and here's a little Jawa. there's other buttons on the other side that do other sounds and lights. And inside, you have like that little oven when you want to throw away. I don't know if you can see that. There's an oven inside that when you want to cook your robots, I guess cook the pieces. I'm gonna zoom in here. I'm going to push that button. See that? Lights up. Smashing sound, crunching your robots up. This also lifts up this tab, and then inside here you have like your little command center for driving. And then in the front, zoom out. So this crane comes in and out. This is to grab your robots and then bring them in, and then that closes up. You can put all your people inside, close up the side, and drive around. Now, the robots that I play, well, okay, so the way I play with things, here's the back of it actually, it's got a really attractive back, and you have your treads. The way I play with things usually is I just set them up and look at them. That's pretty much it. And so when I set this up, I have this droid, you remember he was upside down, and this came with the sandcrawler. Zoom in there. It has a little hole in the top so that you can affix it to it, and he can be out on the crane. And it also came with this Jawa, so he came with the toy as well. It was $100, so you know. Better come with a Jawa. It also came with your cooking utensil for cooking the feet of robots. So you know you can turn them upside down, and then you can have this guy who looks very nefarious, who's working the controllers on there, burning that little fella's feet for who knows information. You know, I don't know what information you're going to get from a droid, but you know, sometimes you just, why not? You got to burn some feet. And I put this guy in. I don't, you know, some of you out there might know the names of these. I really don't care. So he's the driver. I just imagine he's the driver, and I put him up in here. And also when I play with this, set it up, I put in a C-3PO that's got his stomach parts removed, so you can see that, and he's kind of, you know, in between being built. And then I have some jumbled pieces broken, like here's a C-3PO torso without the head, and zoom in on that, see that, and no head. And so it's like, to me, that's like robot junk. And then I have the C-3PO that actually goes on the back of the Chewbacca. If you remember, I think Return to the Empire Strikes Back. He gets blown up on Lando Calrissian's place, and he's all in a bunch of pieces, and he's carrying him in a backpack. But I just throw it in there like, you know, they just got a bunch of pieces of broken robots. And then I also have a 1995 land speeder. I don't have the original one, but this is the same model. It has a little button in the front. You push that up and open that, and then you know can work on the engine if you need to. Put the people inside. I have Luke, and then I have is it Jyn Erso in there. And what I really like about this is that it has springs. I don't know if any of you have ever seen one of these before, but it has 3 wheels on the bottom, and it actually rides on the springs. So when you play with it, it's like it hovers. See how it bounces and it rolls, and it's like it's rolling, you know, hovering. You can't see the wheels. It's just so neat. And you can put the landing gear up. It actually has a switch inside. And it's like a transmission. So you pull it and then lock it back here. You see, you release it, and then it springs forward, and that puts the wheels out. So the wheels are out, and then you pull it in, lock it in the back, and now the wheels are inside. So it's just flat. So I always think this is just such a clever, marvelous thing that they came up with there. And I put other little guys. Now this is like a 1977 Obi-Wan. The nice thing about toys, Star Wars toys, is that they're all about the same size throughout the years. So you can play with the newer ones and the older ones, even though the newer ones have better articulation. You know, it doesn't usually matter. And you can play, like Luke is bringing, you know, he's going with Obi-Wan to go buy a robot, you know, and then they're there, and they find C-3PO and R2-D2, who, you know, that they discovered in the desert after they fled the ship, Leia's ship, and you know, this one actually, you can put his feet up in there. See that? So this R2-D2, you can push his feet up, his foot squishes up inside, and pulls down, and he has a feature where he's got some little tools that can come out, and yeah, in his sides you can, you know, there's this little, there you go. You push his feet, okay, you push his foot in, that's right, and the jets come out. And that was, I think that was in the later Star Wars movies, The Phantom Menace, where, you know, we saw for the first time R2-D2 could pull his leg in, and then these two little jets would pop out, and then he could fly. So that's this version. I had an R2-D2 that could talk and make little R2-D2 beeps and stuff also. So they come out with many of those. So, you know, you can play with that set, and then I pretend that, you know, Rey is in the mix, and Rey shows up, and she comes with BB-8, and you know, they're shopping for robots, and then I have the black, what is it, well, not R2-D2, but it's, you know, the dark R2-D2, and that little fella here, so I put him in the mix, you know, that he's in the ship, and, you know, Jawas have all these fellas with them. I want to get more Jawas. I don't have that many, but when I look at how much they cost, it's really hard to justify like $13 or something for a Jawa like this. I mean, it should be, I don't know, like $7, $6.99. That's what it should be. Also, with my Star Wars collection today, I'm going to share with you another one of my favorites, and this is Chewbacca. But this is like a Barbie-sized Chewbacca, and he talks. There's a button here, and you know, I think I showed you on the other video with him, but he's just so great. And he has, you know, his bowcaster. His bowcaster would come apart, and that was annoying to me. So I shoe glued it, so it doesn't come apart anymore. So, you know, and sometimes it's just better to shoe glue something so you don't lose it. You know, and you gotta really, a lot of times collectors might think like, oh, you know, I don't want to touch anything or change anything. But it's your toy, and it's a toy. It's a piece of plastic. So at some point it's like, you know, what's the value in this if I'm not really enjoying it, if I'm constantly preserving it or keeping it in a box? Now, there are toys I don't care that much about, so I keep them in a box, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm not really going to get much utility different from having it in the box or out of the box. I'm just going to look at it on the wall or the shelf or whatever in the box, and that's enough enjoyment. But most things I open because it's a toy, and I don't really take it that seriously. Um, and then last on our little toy exposition today is this Yoda, and my wife got me this for my car. You could stick it to your car and push a button.
Hard to see the dark side is.
And he's really loud.
May the Force be with you.
The other Yoda could learn something from this one.
I understand. For my ally is the Force. You must feel the Force around you. Yes, Jedi strength flows from the Force.
So he's really
Like
great. Overcoming engine noise or the maybe the heater wind.
Strong am I with the Force.
Okay. And so that is Toy Talk today. A little bit of toy exposition, explanation. I hope you enjoyed it. I will give a little bit more details on the toys and the history behind me having them, what I can tell you about them and what I know. Thank you very much, and I will be back later. This is GL1 signing out.